horror games are some of the most popular types of games around. There's just something about sitting alone in the dark as you explore an unsettling environment while trying to avoid being jump scared or killed by some kind of apparition or abomination. Even if you're someone like me who doesn't typically emote very much while playing video games. Oh, he did find me. Okay. But every now and then, you'll stumble across something more unsettling or spooky in a video game that is not necessarily meant to be horrific. So here are 5 spooky moments in non-spooky games. Beware there will be spoilers for the following: Crime Scene Cleaner, LEGO Jurassic World, Fallout 4, Starfield, and The Outer Worlds. This is something that I've noticed tons of times playing video games before, and I'm sure that loads of other channels have addressed this. But the one game that made me decide to finally make this video was Crime Scene Cleaner. In case the name doesn't give it away, you're a person who cleans up crime scenes for a mob boss, so you're just a cleaner. The crime scene aspect does kind of make it seem like it's a noble profession. So to address this already, the game itself already deals with horrific ideas and horrible topics and scenarios. But for the most part, it's kind of set in the realm of reality. That is, until your 4th mission, called Short Circuit. The premise is kind of standard. Kowalski receives an email from some punk who wants to decrease the housing prices around him, so he uses the Bluetooth speakers of his neighbors to make them think that their house is haunted. Unbeknownst to him, however, the mother suffered from a mental illness and had stopped taking her medication. On the night of the cleanup, she gave in to the voices and decided that the only way to save her family from the demons was to kill them. So she bludgeoned her son and shotgunned her husband before ending herself. As I said, it's a murder standard. The thing that I forgot to mention, and honestly my favorite part about this whole thing, is that the house is actually haunted. The mother had a prized cat, and you can enter an entire room dedicated to this cat on the 1st floor. It's a little weird, but to each their own. Anyone who has ever owned a cat before knows that living with a cat is essentially the same as living with a ghost. Always knocking things over, the constant groaning, the ceiling walking. And even just possessing household objects. So who wouldn't want a cat spirit roaming around their house? Similarly, how Crime Scene Cleaner deals with horrific topics, Jurassic Park is already a horror franchise. I mean, at least the first 3 were. The newer ones kind of seem more like action films, but to be honest, I haven't really gotten around to watching them. But with Legos, anything can be made fun, and there is absolutely nothing to fear. At LEGO Jurassic World, during the restoring power level of the first film, they managed to do just that. It starts with Gallimimus? I don't know the names of dinosaurs. Chasing Alan Grant, Lex, and Timmy, while you occasionally have to dodge their charges. It then cuts to Ellie Sattler and Robert Muldoon entering a bunker to turn on the power.
Mr. Arnold? Mr. Arnold?
This is the only LEGO game that I can remember, at least, trying to think, and I have played nearly all of them, where you must navigate the darkness with a flashlight while being stalked by something. As you make your way through the basement, you have to use the 2 characters to solve puzzles, all the while Ian Malcolm lies nearly shirtless on a slab reading off of instructions. And somewhere out there, you know there's a murderous dinosaur running around. It really makes you tense up as you expect it to jump out at any corner.
Mr. Hammond, I think we're back in business. Oh, Mr. Arnold.
You're hit with 3 back-to-back jump scares in what is essentially a children's game. And yes, I have played nearly every LEGO game, and yes, I love them all. And also, yes, I'm a 35-year-old man. You continue as Ellie and Muldoon, making your way through the forest area where the raptor will occasionally jump out and attack you. Alright, look. I am a mature adult, but who decided on this animation where the character is being attacked and they turn their butt up towards the attacking dinosaur? Composed. Alright, I'm fine. The two eventually arrive at an opening for a classic LEGO boss fight. The raptor will move among the bushes, and it is up to you to remember where they were last spotted so that you can bop them on the head with some rocks and earn yourself the classic line, "Have a go." As I did not mention in the two previous entries, atmosphere is essential to driving the terror. One of my favorite quests in Fallout 4 is the Devil's Due. While wandering around Diamond City or Good Neighbor, our guard will mention the Museum of Witchcraft.
Word is, something bad went down in the old Museum of Witchcraft up near Salem. Why would anyone even go there? Been abandoned forever.
It is located in the northeast part of the Commonwealth near the town of Salem. On arrival, your Pip-Boy tells you to examine the remains of Private Heart.
Open it from this end.
Okay. She is in pieces, and crows are picking her corpse clean. Hart was a gunner. For those who don't know, gunners are a military mercenary faction in Fallout 4 meant to act as a rival group should the player wipe out the Brotherhood or the Institute. On her body is a holotape.
Jeffries, Lee got the recorder working. So this the sort of detail you had in mind when you signed up for the Gunners? Hauling luggage from Linwoods for some robot butler? What was his name? Wellerton? Wallingham?
Not now, Private. Where's Connors? He's not at his post.
Oh, sorry, sir. The lieutenant said he found some tracks. Wanted to check them out. Private Martin.
Tracks? What track? What the hell is that?
Oh my... Connors! Where's the rest of him?
Jesus. Found us. Sergeant Lee, grab the case. Do not let that thing out of your sight. Everyone inside the museum, now!
Major, what found us?
Apparently, the gunners were sent to a place called Lynn Woods to collect something to be delivered to a robot butler in Diamond City. But whatever they had taken upset a wasteland abomination, and it started to track them down, forcing the gunners to take shelter in the museum. The sole survivor is now tasked with entering the museum to search for survivors and offer any help that they can, which makes no sense considering that the gunners are usually hostile to the player, with very few instances of them being chill about it. We enter through the basement. The ceiling shakes as something huge stomps around upstairs. Continuing forward, you reach an area where body parts fall from a hole in the ceiling, and when you look up, a body is pulled out of the way. Moving forward, more stomping causes dust to fall, and we eventually enter a room where a body falls from a hole in the ceiling. Now it's finally time to go upstairs with all the mannequins depicting the witch trials. But if you are to go any further, you'll come face to face with the monster that was stalking the gunners. And it's a Deathclaw, which I guess to anyone who has played Fallout before, it's pretty obvious. Nothing else is going to track people down and kill them. And I have to say, this is the best way to introduce a Deathclaw. It was creepy. The entire moment was very unsettling, and you're in such a small area when you finally do have to do the fight that you're stuck to either hiding in the room where it cannot get to you, forcing it to run away from you and make you leave your hiding space, or you have to run through the doorways, occasionally turning back to fire some shots as you slowly whittle down its health. What I'm saying is, this is a better introduction to the Deathclaw in Fallout 4 than just throwing it at you at the beginning of the game. But this entire section, when I first played it over a decade ago, was amazing, and it's one of the quests that I really wish I could play for the first time again, because every Deathclaw after this moment has just... it's been a little disappointing. Speaking of terrifying stalking monsters, in Starfield you can join the UC Vanguard. They're also a military organization, but they're meant to provide protection across the galaxy to members of the United Colonies. Your very first mission for them is called grunt work. It involves delivering supplies to a settlement in United Space. So it's off to Tau Ceti 2 to make the delivery. It's like Futurama! On arrival, it becomes immediately clear that something terrible has happened here. There are dead settlers and claw marks all over the place, and the turrets are all smashed. But I guess that's not too unusual from what you'll witness in space, I guess. While reading the computer entries, you find out that this food manufacturing facility was not very prepared for life out here. Only one member of the staff was trained to use a firearm, and when they finally got their turrets, they often shorted out the grid and knocked all the power off. All this effort to find new food sources when they already created the perfect meal in cube form. While navigating the living quarters, you'll hear an inhuman scream. Well, nothing to it then. Alright, fine. We'll do the quest. And that involves exploring the food factory, where we'll eventually meet Hadrian. They tell us that this carnage was caused by a Terramorph. And if you've never played Starfield and have been watching this video at least, just look back to the previous monster in the previous entry. A Terramorph is the Starfield equivalent of a Deathclaw.
One of the nastiest aliens humanity's ever crossed paths with. And this one, well, it's something of an anomaly. Possibly a worrying one.
And this will be your arachnophobia warning, as I have heard that the Terramorph does trigger some people's arachnophobia. After learning about the Terramorph, this is your last chance, I guess semi-last chance, to turn away. Because your next job is to go turn on the power. And once you do so, well, it's kind of no going back at that point. If you still haven't walked away, then you're probably sneaking your way to the power. Because all you know is that there is something out there that wants to kill you, and if this is your first encounter with one, like it was for me, you have no clue what you're in for. Right when the power turns on, you're told by Hadrian that there's a tracking device that will tell you when the Terramorph is close.
Hello. I wish I'd found this earlier. Those sensors around the facility? Part of a livestock tracking system. Should let you keep tabs on how close the Terramorph is. But it's not connected to this network. There should be a terminal in the adjoining room. Tune it to 183.5.
You can see where this is going.
Tracker's reading green. And what's that sound?
The security lockdown is active.
Shit. Stop whatever you're doing and get in cover. It's on the move. Look with that thing on the move. My advice, avoid direct engagement.
If you're not crouched, because you wanted to watch the scene unfold outside of the window, it will immediately aggro to you. If you brought companions, they will immediately aggro to it, which will then cause it to immediately aggro to you. So, I left them back on the ship. But if you're alone, you can sneak around the facility, turning on the generators. All the while, the beeping gets faster or slower to remind you of the impending threat. With all of the generators on and the turrets operational, you have the extra firepower that you need to take this sucker down. You just now need to get in close to get it to chase you and last long enough for it to die. You know what? Nah, man. I'm good. I've got some other plans.
But trust me, the food's still great without it. Hello there. Welcome to the new Homestead Chunks. We've got all your Chunks favorites. Well, almost all of them.
Continuing on with missed horror opportunities for video games by developers, I guess that probably would have made more sense with the Fallout entry. But in the Outer Worlds, Murder on Eridanos DLC, you are tasked with Let me check my notes. Solving the murder on Eridanos. This means a cast of great new characters, maybe lovable, I don't know, that you can interact with, like Mascot, or Drunk Tossball Player, or Annoying Prick 1 and 2.
Sweet gibbering law, where'd you come from? Sorry, let me just get back in character. Whoa, 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 it's not what it looks like. I'm the mascot for the Rizzo's Rangers. 3 times.
But one of the game's new characters is actually the astronavigator for the Sky Island that Rizzo's has built their factory on, Phaeton. It tells you that it needs tuning, but the captain disappeared down in the underside with the mechanics and hasn't been seen in quite a while. It's up to me, I guess. Taking an elevator down into the bowels of Phaeton, and as you round the corner and look through a big window, you can see a large canid. If at any moment you look away from the window and then look back, it disappears. But there are still enemies on your compass, meaning it's still around here somewhere. Exploring further, there are more corpses and infected people. Yeah. There are also, unfortunately, robots that do kind of kill the atmosphere for this one. But the tension is kept alive by the fact that somewhere running around is a giant dog monster that could be around any corner, just waiting to jump out at us. When you do finally reach the room where the giant doggo was, it is of course no longer there. But there will be 3 normal-sized canids. Reading the computer entries tells you that the mechanics were doing some work, and some of the cables and piping were just mysteriously being pulled out. Eventually, you'll encounter Mabel Thompson, the captain of the Skyland.
Hey, I don't know who you think you are, but I'm the captain of this vessel. You're the captain. Are you on break or something? And as the captain, I specifically recall locking this door, and I do not recall giving anyone permission to unlock it. I'm not hiding. I'm waiting for a strategic opportunity to evade the Canid threat. But now that you've found me, I suppose you can help me take care of this mess once and for all.
It's now up to us to take care of the Canids and realign Phaeton. Captain Thompson's plan is to heat the pipes and burn the Canids, but I'm an animal lover and would rather not if I don't have to, because it might make Anubis upset. This next segment requires stealthing behind some robots, or just destroying them if they get in your way, until you reach the hallway behind the room that the giant Canid was in, where you will find a Mega Canid host. So maybe that was the giant Canid we saw that just vanished behind a glass wall? It's hard to tell, because with most Megas, they're significantly bigger. With Canid or Mega Canids, they're just slightly bigger. Killing it puts us near the elevator to reach the floor below. In the gyroscope room, you can peer in to see that there are 3 more Mega Canids. Safe to say that the spooky has kind of ended, but it's still a great quest. I do wish they would have gone with the ghost dog. But it's fine. Up on one of the walkways, there's a trail of bloody footprints, and when you follow them, you'll find a dead security officer with a uniquely named battle axe in their back. Collect it, and then it's time to decide how we're going to handle the canids. If you brought companions with you, it'll be a bit more difficult to pacify the canids, because even if you set your companions to passive, if the canids see them, just like with the Terramorph, they're going to be aggroed to you. The canids do have a set pathing, each of them going counterclockwise, 2 of them going up a set of stairs on either side of the room, and only the central one in the middle being a real problem, as its pathing will line up with one of the other 2. My recommendation is to travel to the right side of the room while the canid in the middle is on the other side with the left canid. The one on the right will likely be up the stairs on the walkway, and if you're timing it perfectly, you should be able to be just out of its peripheral vision as you reach the other side of the room.
Warning, customer. You appear to be leaking.
If you're quick enough, you can get to the other side of the room to call down the elevator, without making any of them hostile. While you wait for the elevator to descend, you either have to keep following the circle path around the room, trying to avoid being seen by the canids, or getting into a corner just well enough to be out of their sight. Upstairs, Mabel is waiting, and wow, she could have just sent the elevator back down for us, so we didn't have to get to the other side of the room, not notice that the elevator was not there, and get crushed beneath it when it was descending.
And in one piece,
No one's that stupid. So she wants to kill them, but as I said, I don't think they need to die. So with little effort in convincing her, we can put them to sleep and complete the recalibration of Phaeton, ending the quest, and then we can go have a nice little look at the sleeping dogs. With that, those were 5 spooky moments in non-spooky games, and as I've said before, I love it when a video game takes a break from the normal and gives the players a moment of horror. I never really know how to end these because real content creators will be like, if you liked it, like it, follow, comment, share. I don't care if you guys do any of that. It's not my job. I'm not bashing any of the content creators that do that because it is their jobs. They need your help and support. But you don't need to like this. You don't need to comment. You don't need to share. Do whatever you want to do. It's fine. But that leaves me with like nothing to say at the end of these videos. And now I'm getting into like another ramble. There's a 4-minute ramble that I started and then I cut. It'll be in the description below if you want to watch it. It's just me discussing some behind the scenes stuff at the end. So I guess that'll be what I'll say. If you want at the end of these, after you've watched the list, for me to tell you a little bit of the behind the scenes of what I went through to make this, I could do that at the end, because then it's at least something funny. But yeah, like I never know what to say. The end of my list video for the lighthouses was me being like, I can talk to people. I can talk. I'm talking right now. There's no issue. Talking is fine. But I don't like reading from scripts. It sounds so robotic. It sounds so bad. But I can't just start talking in the moment. That's why I have to type something up to read. So now I'm just basically telling you the same thing I told you in that one. So I'm not going to go there. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy it. My plan is at least one more guaranteed one at the end of the year of 2025. Because I'm going to change up what I'm doing on my main channel in 2025. 2026 to allow me to start doing list videos, because I guess I'm a masochist in a way. That channel is monetized, and now that it's monetized, I'm like, I'm done playing with you. I'm not, because it's an upload channel where I just play games and upload them. But now that it's monetized, I'm going to this channel that's not monetized and working on it. And then when it probably gets monetized, I'll find my next thing. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy it. I enjoy the writing part. I like to write. Again, me just rehashing what I've said before. I like that part. Because that's fun. I like the record. Like, I like the idea building and the making of it. I don't like this. I like this part. This where I'm just talking without having to read something. I don't like the reading from the script. And who knows? Maybe as I make more of these, I'll get more to a point where I won't need the scripts and I can just say what's in my head. But the issue is the things that come to my head while I'm playing a game, or they come to my head while I'm driving, or they come to my head while I'm at work and bored as shit and need to just get something down, and that's why they get written down. They never come to my head if I'm sitting just in front of a microphone. But who knows? We'll see what 2026 has to offer. And yeah, once again, I hope you guys did enjoy it. I guess I'll see you in the next one.